Okay, YouTube, I'd like to do a review on my A.R.E camper top for my F-250. This is a CX series. It is a mid-grade camper top, not the lowest and not quite the highest options there, but it is a mid-grade, and I just want to walk you through, show you some things that I am not liking about this. A little bit of background. I made payment for this back in November of 13. Because of some delivery issues and other issues that I'm going to explain, I really didn't get the camper top till about March or April of 2014. I'm taking the video here in August of 2014, and I'll walk you around, show you what I think, things that I don't like, things that I wish I would have thought about before making this purchase, questions I would have asked, but as life goes, you kind of learn the hard way sometimes. This mistake cost me about $2,200. If I had it to do all over again, I'd be looking at a different camper top, a different manufacturer anyhow. So here we go. One of the things I want to show you here is the quality or lack of quality with the craftsmanship of this camper top. We'll open up this door here. I want to draw your attention to these rivets that hold the door frame here, the window frame in place. As you can see, they're not doing so well. We live down here in Florida. We are about 20 miles from the coast, but I think a higher grade level of rivet, at least some attention to painting could have been done here. I'm going to have to clean these up myself and do some corrosion treatment on these. The other thing I want to draw your attention to is this is one example of many. Wait for the camera to come in focus here. You take a look at this rivet right here. Get my finger on it. This is one example of many rivets that have not been the word I'm looking for here, installed correctly. You can see the gap between the rivet head and the frame of the window there. Just very poor, rushed quality craftsmanship with this product. Walking around here, I'll also draw your attention. Not a big deal, but it is something that caught my attention here. There's black silicone along the inside of the window jamb here. Most likely an installation error in the manufacturing process, but it's just a very, very sloppy way to fix things and, in my opinion, do business. If you look up here, again, I'm waiting for this camera to focus. I'm doing this on an iPhone, so bear with me. Right about here, as they drilled through this hole here to install the rivet, there's no drill stop. They didn't use a drill stop. It was a calibrated eye, and they went through with the drill bit and continued drilling until they hit the backstop here. Is it a deal breaker for me? No, but again, there's just better ways to do this. People that know how to work with metal would not be doing this. People that have had experience with drilling and metal fabrication and installation of rivets, this is amateur hour as far as I'm concerned. And to let this stuff go on at the quality assurance level, to me, is a sign of bigger problems. So, walking around the back of the truck here, I want to show you the option that I got. I had two LED rope lights installed, one on the left, one on the right, and for the most part I like them. They throw out more than enough light. Lighting is never an issue in this truck. But I want to point out, come under here, look upside down here, the main dome switch, which was part of this package deal here, you'll see a very, very thin switch right here. I have my finger on it. This to me is an engineering problem, not so much a problem with the dealership or installation, but this is engineered very poorly. One or two cycles of this switch and this thing here will snap off. Now the dealer was very good about contacting A.R.E, and they had a new one sent out to me. But rather than deal with this being because they didn't fix the switch, they just sent me a new dome assembly. So what I decided to do was leave this in the on position permanently, and then if you look down here, I installed an on-off toggle switch that I got from the AutoZone or one of the car part stores. It cost me about $8 or $9. Not difficult for somebody who knows what they're doing, but for somebody who's going to pay $2,200 and buy into this thinking that they're not going to have to do anything, this is a problem, especially if you're not handy with repair work, electrical knowledge, and or sheet metal knowledge with removing and installing rivets. You're going to have a little bit of work on your hand here as far as I'm concerned. Continuing the review, again, this is just things that I've been noticing. I've had this for about 8 months now. You take a look at the steel, the metal that was chosen for this. Clearly not meant to stand up to the elements. And is this a complete deal breaker for me? No, but I think they could have done better, and honestly I wouldn't have mind paying another $25 or $50 for superior hardware on this camper top here. You'll notice that these rivets here, I believe they're rivets, yeah they are, they're already rusted out, and the lock bar here that controls the locking mechanism has elements of corrosion that have, quite honestly, I've noticed it shortly after I picked up the camper top, but like most of us, we're pretty busy working and we don't have time to do these reviews whenever we want to do. So I am getting around to this a little bit late, but again, I've only had it for under a year. Take a look at this rivet right here that holds this flap on, completely sheared. Just kind of tore the edge of the plastic here. I don't know how that happened, honestly. Just another sign of weak craftsmanship, I guess. If you take a look, come down here. Not a deal breaker, but I'd like to show this. I want to show this just to illustrate really the quality or level of craftsmanship that went into the fabrication of this shell top here. You take a look at the edge here. It has a very rough edge, and you know, attention to detail is something that I look for when I purchase a product. And no metalsmith in their right mind, anybody who at least takes pride in their work, would not leave something looking like this. So, a little disappointed. Now, kind of saved the best for last. On this side here, about a week ago, I went and opened the door, and I very rarely open these doors. But over time, the period that I've owned it, I noticed a little bit of resistance coming from the front end here, and it wasn't enough to really draw my attention to anything until about a week ago. When I opened the door, I heard a pop, and it took me a second to figure out what actually happened. I just happened to be in the location of the dealer that sold me the camper top. Unfortunately, I was, because without their help, I would not have been able to get the door closed. I would have been forced to drive home with this door wide open. But anyhow, over time, what happened was, you have a stop up here. This rivet basically keeps the whole hinge system, the door, from sliding forward. This rivet here, and I'll show you when I open it up, was basically chewed away by the lip of the hinge system, so that when I opened the door, whatever pressure, whatever caused this tremendous pressure, forced the entire door forward, and it kept me from closing it, because this piece here was hitting the inside of the lip. It had nowhere to go, so when I closed it, it just wouldn't allow me to close it all the way because this hinge here was hitting the lip of the door. And long story short, the dealership came out with a block. They had a padding on it. They took a mallet and they gently tapped it back in place, slid it back aft, so I was able to close the door. I was a little pressed, a little short for time that day. And there you go again. See, now it's not even closing again. It already. This is what I was dealing with before. The door had slid forward, and I couldn't close it. Where I was going with this was the dealership offered to fix it. They didn't have any rivets that size that day. I told them, you know, hey, I'm pretty familiar. I can manage my way around rivets and some metal work like this. Now that I know what the problem is, I agreed to fix it on my own. So I'm doing it on my own. To me, it was more convenient than having to drive my truck 20 miles away, wait for work to be done when I can do it at my own leisure at my own house. With that being said, I don't like the idea of having to do this stuff on my own, considering I already paid $2,200, and I just think that this stuff here, you can do better for $2,200. One other thing. Okay, folks, sorry about that. Battery died on the phone, and I'm just going to finish up the review here. I believe I left off talking about some of the hardware and trim in here just really not living up to my expectations as far as quality goes. And the last thing I was reviewing, again, was the system that they use in order to keep the door hinge system from sliding forward and aft. Today I'm going to have to go in here and drill out this rivet and put a new rivet in, and hopefully I think I have one long enough. I need one with a little bit of a longer shank to keep the lip from this door hinge from biting at it and over time shearing it and working it down. So that's what I'm going to do today. Just like I said, a little disappointed. This here is from just the normal and opening and closing of the door here that eventually over time ate away at the rivet here. So that's what I'm going to do today. And two other things I want to leave you with. You'll notice the color of the truck and the color of the camper top are pretty nice. They did a good job matching that, but that was not the original color when I purchased it. I believe I received the first time I got the camper top was back in January or maybe February. I'll be honest, I forget now. But when I got it, the camper top was a couple shades of red lighter than the truck, and it was quite obvious when you put the camper top on and you looked at the truck, there was a mismatch. So what the dealer recommended was, and I kind of liked it, was we remove the fuel door from the truck and send this back to the manufacturer, so that way there's going to be no question or doubt as to how to match the paint color. Now let me back up here for a second and explain that the original color, this was a 2014 Ford F-250. The dealer wrote down the VIN number and placed it on the work order in order for the manufacturer to match the color exactly. For whatever reason, there's variations in different manufacturers, Ford, GM, and so the shade of that color, this color is called ruby red. The color did not match the exact DuPont color mixture that the manufacturer A.R.E. uses, and that explains why the shade was off a couple tones of red. But anyhow, through no additional charges other than the inconvenience of not having a camper top, the dealership and the manufacturer made it right. I will say I am pleased with the color match. They did a good job on that. There's one more thing I want to show you. This kind of falls under the category of quality and craftsmanship here. Doing this on an iPhone, so the focusing is not the best. But again, you know, if I spent more time for this review, I think you get the point. The more you look, the more you find here. And this is another example of just poor quality work here. It looks like the hull was initially, for whatever reason, it was drilled in the wrong location. So they kind of sidestepped to the left and over torqued. I don't know, to be honest, other than this is the result here of one of the installations, or the installation of some of the hardware. So to kind of summarize, I'm a little disappointed. This door here is the biggest concern of mine. And again, to be fair, when I was lucky when last week when I first had a problem with opening the door and I couldn't get it to close. I happened to be there in the vicinity of the dealership. I didn't know what was keeping it from closing. I actually thought it was one of these brackets here down at the bottom that connects the piston. And they came out and they looked at it and they realized it was that forward rivet up here that I was talking about earlier had sheared, allowing the door to shift forward. And they agreed they were going to take care of it. They didn't have the rivet in stock that day of the required length, and I just told them, I said, listen, I appreciate it. I have enough knowledge. I actually have a rivet gun, and I know how to properly install rivets, so it would be more convenient for me to do this on my time when I have the time to do it, which is today, Saturday. It's 105 degrees out here, but that's what I'm going to do today. Again, they also gave me, again, I appreciate this, but the dealership gave me a free truck cargo bar, and they gave me a military discount for the cab, which was nice. But to summarize, with all the things that I pointed out in the review here, if I had to do it again, I would definitely consider looking at another brand or style of camper top for my truck. And with the things that I pointed out today, these are the questions that I would ask, things I would look a little bit closer at. And as I'm closing up in this video, I'm looking at some other stuff right here. Just leave you with this. You see, I'm going to point right here. You see that burr there from drilling? Again, it's just a sign of poor quality, in my opinion, craftsmanship. These are very easy to clean up when you drill aluminum like this, and to leave that stuff there just shows that you were rushing, or you just didn't care, or a combination of the two. I hope this review helped. If you have any questions, feel free to post. I will answer them whenever I have the time, and I'll be as objective and fair about my opinions of this whole transaction. Take care.